the 1950s, creatures were arriving here to do battle against humankind. They flew over the White House, attacked home and hearth, and in general ransacked Mother Earth. But that was only up on the giant Hollywood screen, or so it seemed. A new book indicates that we may have been attacked without realizing it, and that the facts have been hidden away by the same folks who declared Roswell a hoax. In a series of rather astonishing disclosures, the New York Times recently revealed in a provocative front-page story that the military had spent over $20 million on the study of UFOs and the creation of an advanced aerospace threat identification program, to ascertain if UFOs pose a threat either to individual witnesses or to the entire population of our planet. Fostering heightened speculation, they continue to hide their confidential studies concerning the physiological and psychological effects of UFOs on close encounter victims, as well as their influence over commercial, private and military aircraft, and their ability to go so far as to injure by incineration, radioactivity, or other means, those that might have gotten too close to an unidentified object on the ground or in the air. This aforementioned recently published book seeks to ask, and to answer, some very important questions concerning the uncontrollable and unpredictable nature of this perplexing phenomenon. Once it is a given that UFOs and their alien occupants are real, the next question that must be answered is, are they friendly or hostile? Students of the subject will quickly acknowledge that this is not an easy question to answer. There is ample evidence, based on case histories and educated speculation, to argue either case. With this latest offering from Inner Light/Global Communications, which publisher Timothy Green Beckley has entitled UFO Hostilities and the Evil Alien Agenda, Lethal Encounters with Ultraterrestrials Exposed, one can easily see where this one is coming from. Beckley has assembled the usual suspects from among his team of collaborating writers, all of whom have collectively covered the subject of hostile aliens as thoroughly as one could wish. The resulting tome is 450-plus pages of terrifying case histories, photos and art that will leave you wishing for a warm, fuzzy ET-like creature to land and relieve you from the dark truths you must confront as you read this gut-wrenching volume of alien evil and human helplessness. A pragmatic scientist grapples with the hostility question. Dr. James E. McDonald, 1920–1971, was a leading member of the University of Arizona's Institute of Atmospheric Physics. His hypothesis that UFOs were extraterrestrial instruments on information-gathering missions, and his belief that the scientific reports of the time, including 1968's Condon Report, were superficially done led him to investigate sightings and to combat governmental impediments against his research. UFO Hostilities and the Evil Alien Agenda reprints a statement McDonald submitted to the House Committee on Science and Astronautics at the July 29, 1968, Symposium on Unidentified Flying Objects, held at the Rayburn Building in Washington, D.C. Official statements have emphasized, McDonald writes, for the past 2 decades, that there is no evidence of hostility in the UFO phenomena. To a large degree, this same conclusion seems indicated in the body of evidence gathered by independent investigators. The related question as to potential hazard is perhaps less clear. McDonald then listed several types of UFO encounter that were potentially hazardous, as when the UFOs seem able to stop a moving car dead in its tracks, to inflict mild radiation exposure, and on occasion to inflict more serious physical injuries. The careful scientist admitted that he knew of at least 2 cases that he would say involved overt hostility on the part of the aliens. One involved a young boy in Bellsville, Ohio, who had to be treated for burns at the local hospital after encountering an oval-shaped object with lights on it. The craft emitted a flash that set the young boy's jacket on fire. There is much more detail than can be recapitulated here, McDonald writes. My conversations with persons who know the boy, including his teacher, suggest no reason to discount the story, despite its unusual content. Another overt hostility case known to McDonald involved burn injuries of an even more serious nature, but he declined to give the details in his report to Congress. McDonald died in 1971 from his own hand, said to be motivated by his wife's decision to leave him for another man and the ridicule the scientist suffered for his outspoken belief that UFOs are genuine alien spacecraft. His death is still considered questionable nearly 50 years later.